Good morning, guys. Happy Monday. Max here with that great looking hair. He's covering it up for us. He was all self-conscious. He didn't want the cameras on this morning. Look at that. He's got the helmet. The helmet. Max doesn't need a helmet when he rides a motorcycle. He's got all that beautiful hair. I cannot say the same. We cannot say the same on this end of the on the spectrum. But we have facial hair, so it's a win-win. Yeah, good morning to everyone. Crypto Shinobi. It's been a while since I've seen you. XPIM, OC, of course, Goat Ninja, Nick, and Detroit Dan. I feel like I've seen you, but I haven't seen you before. So if you're new, thanks for stopping in. As always, guys, smash the like. You guys know the drill. Shill. Like, subscribe, tell your family, all that stuff. Yeah, kind of it was a boring weekend, to be upfront with you guys. Very, very sideways. Couple good moves off the lows. I've now taken 2 longs off the lows, both hit take profit 1 and then stop me out. So not in a long currently, but would have liked to have been if I could have gotten out of bed at 5:30 this morning. I just couldn't do it. The old age got me. So yeah, Max, anything to add before we hop into the charts?
Get in there.
Get it in there. That's what he says. Let me move the screen around a little bit. There we go. And we'll hop right in. I'm having microphone issues, by the way, guys. There was a power outage at my place, and for whatever reason, it fucked up my sound settings, and my ultra wide is no longer producing sound, so it's coming out of my laptop from over here. So hopefully that's not coming back to you guys, but I guess we'll see on the playback. So yeah, had my baby boy, took a couple months off, ready to grind. Good for you, Shinobi. Congrats on the new child. That's always great. Hopefully everything's well there. What's up, Detroit Dan? I'm in Detroit too, homie. There you go. You guys got some homies there. Charlize. All right. Haven't seen Charlize in a while either. Okay. So what do we got going on? You took the previous day low and you've come back and back tested it. I was telling Max, this is realistically, just a, you could call it a gold pocket. I think it did wick to the 786, but came back. You got your back test, holds the previous day low in the gold pocket. Wicks come down to here, stops everyone out, kind of basically SFPs this little mini low, if you however you want to look at it, or you could just say it SFP'd this low right here at 715 into the New York session. Okay. From there, where are you targeting? If you're trading just on highs and lows, you're looking to take this back to the previous day high potentially. Now, I'm not going to pull up the swing points of liquidity. I'm going to let Max do that, but I imagine there's a decent amount up there from what I saw. But when you get a setup like that, what your targets are also going to be outside of range targets, of course. If you pull up like your developing day, like so, you can see that, well, if you got in here, you're rotating the range back to the weekly open. Okay, it's very, very simple. Decent size move, $200, not bad, almost a full percentage point for the day. And then you can leave it to see if it'll take the London Asia highs. This was an interesting low, good washout at the low. The red-green PVAs coming in. Outside of that, though, from what I'm being told from Max and other people, is that it looks weak. So I'll let them kind of cover that. But for me, if I was trading this just based on, ranges, you've got your take profit 1. Now you're looking to see if you can't let this ride through the Asia London highs into the previous day high, potentially up to what are weekly and bi-weekly pivots, the caveman. So these are big targets for us just because they get hit at a pretty good clip. So you'd be looking somewhere between 30,596 and 30,666, my number right there. And if that level gets cleared, this is a pretty big single print. If I recall, Max had it up last night during the members live. It goes all the way up to pretty much the April highs. You'd basically be looking to rotate this entire structure yet again. Should probably address the title of the video before we move on too much. That's the day trading side of things. When we look at this, you can see that you've got weekly low, weekly low, weekly low, weekly low, and they're all higher lows, which is a good thing. So you want to see that taking place. You don't want to see price breaking below the previous week and current week open. As you can see, they are pretty close to each other, right around 30,162 and 30,231. That would probably put us at the point of taking out the previous week low. So if bears are going to, have a shot here, they're probably going to shoot that shot sooner rather than later, in my opinion. You rotate back to the highs here, and as I've been saying online, everyone will always ask me what time frame should I be looking for confirmation. It's really not as cut and dry as just saying it's this time frame. It's all about looking at the chart and saying, okay, what makes the most sense? When do I have a change of behavior? So, in this instance, you're looking out to the weekly. You can see you've got your weekly from high from April of 2023. You've swung, fell as high 1, 2, 3, 4 times now. So what you're looking to see is a weekly closure above this level, and same on the monthly chart. Something we've been discussing for a few weeks now in the group. What do we need to see on a monthly basis? The exact same thing, right? So you can see here, we've swung, fell it last month and again this month. So if July, which still has 14 days left to go, so 2 weeks of trading, nonstop, 24 hours a day for Bitcoin, closes above 31,069.50, it's going to look decent. It's going to look like continuation. We're going to look like we're going to test these areas, and the bearish scenario that's in the title and thumbnail of the video, the clickbait, we don't normally do a lot of clickbait, gets invalidated. So when people ask me what would invalidate that setup, well, technically a new high, but if I was being somewhat cautious, I'd want to start seeing like a weekly closure above 31, right? That's really what you're looking for. And this is the setup. I've been talking to you guys since fucking like February about this point in time, this little window between July 10th and July 23rd being an inflection point for the market, just based on Fibonacci time. I'm not going to get back into it today just because we've covered it multiple times across multiple platforms. And it just takes too much time. But you do have a shark pattern here. Okay, so these are bearish reversal patterns. You can go to harmonictrader.com. All that information is there. These are not like falling wedges or double bottoms or whatever, inverse head and shoulders bullshit that you guys are pulling up. The guy who created these patterns, Scott Carney, when he found these, he used a software that basically takes Fibonacci convergence and, likely expansions to give specific results. So it's not like these are just, it's not like Elliott Wave where it's just pulled out of thin air. Nothing personal to the Elliott Wave crowd, but statistically speaking, there's not a whole lot of, stats that go into it. It's a lot of just, I think this could be the case. Therefore, this is my bull and bear scenario, right? So this pattern right here, you can study it in the books. If you're in the group, all 3 books are in the group. You can download them, have them for life. If you're not in the group, we do offer a 1-week free trial. It gets you access to everything, including the book section. There's 20 plus books in there that you guys can download day one. And if you don't even renew it a week, you've got all that information, anything from volume to harmonics to whatever you might need. So Max, you want to say something?
Magic is learning the shell game. You're improving, my man. You're improving.
It's not even an improvement. That's just literally just it's just a fact. It doesn't make any sense. So the value of the group isn't signals, guys. The value of the group is we're giving you all the education that you want, including down to footprint charts, open interest, some new tools that Max is, starting to get strategies with to trade altcoins, things like that, and just learn how to do basic charting and set up trades. That's the thing, is like trading is not an easy thing. It does take time, but you get full access to everything from the videos and modules to the books to the classroom to the other members. You can post in it. We don't restrict you from posting. I've seen other groups that do restrict posting for the free trial members. None of that. You guys are in all the live streams, everything. It's completely free. So education, that's the key, is you guys need to learn how to do this for yourself if you want to make trading a viable source of income for yourself, or even investing in the future. But yeah, so this pattern right here is a bearish reversal pattern. It's very common in Bitcoin. I was trying to explain this to people. One of the most common patterns that's come about is the swing failure pattern, right? So you go out to the weekly now and we look at this, and lo and behold, it's the exact same level we were just looking at, right? 31,069. That's the beginning of the pattern. What did you do at the bottom of the pattern? You swung, failed the low. So what do you have here? You have a beautiful little range. We're just looking to see if this thing resolves and which way it does. So should this pattern start to play out and we start losing these weekly lows right here, as we were just discussing, these weekly lows are going to be very important. You break down from this, sub 30K region. I would say, 29.5 is probably a good place. You do have some support at 28,893 that you need to be aware of, the quarter three. You really start looking at this as the potential of coming down to something like this and just, playing the range. You can see the range is pretty well respected at that point. So looking to take it back down to the bottom of the range, and that's somewhere around $26,000. So that's what you're looking at. What invalidates it? Well, for me, it would be getting back outside of this, seeing at least a weekly closure above these levels, and you're good to go. Not good to go, but it's likely that you're going to make it a new high and at least attempt to take this local high right here at 32,392 up to 32,903, which is your quarter one low, right? So that's the analysis, But if we're going to see a reversal, this has always been the time frame, and that was based on Fibonacci time, and I use them based on session data. I also use them based on important highs and lows. But the session data is what gives us the key highs and lows that we should be looking for similar expansions. In terms of this pattern, you can see that it is if we just measure from the beginning of the pattern to the exact middle, you have an exact one-to-one, meaning it took exactly the same amount of time to go from here to X to B in the middle to B to D at the end. So very symmetrical things that you do want to see on these patterns. Now, just because it's pretty doesn't mean it's going to play out. So again, risk management is going to be key, but until we start seeing that sign of strength, which does begin above the weekly pivots, in my opinion, I believe it's this chart here, right up here above, we'll even call it the previous day high in the quarter three open, which is your monthly open we just looked at, right? We said if you start closing July back above 31,000, the beginning of that is going to be the monthly open, which is also your quarterly open at 30,460. So the real inflection point is we do have statistical targets to hit these values up here. Now, those are almost 3 out of 10 times these are going to fail. So you got to think 70% is pretty good, but 3 out of 10 times you won't tag these. So in that instance, you have to be prepared that if it doesn't, it's probably going to trend the opposite direction, and then we get that expansion to the downside. But if we come up here and hit these values, what you want to see is here, you want to see this previous day high and quarterly open, aka the monthly open right now, because it's a dual level. You want to see that flip to support. If it's not, this could be the short that you're looking for. But if this gets flipped to the support, I would expect to see a move back to that April high, right? That would be the move I'd be looking for. So otherwise, you're just trading this locally. You had a really nice move off the previous day low. You failed to come up and take the session highs at the Asia and London high, which is a little surprising, but sometimes that's how it goes. So that's why I said, your take profit one really is the range rotation up here around the weekly open. And then from there, you have additional targets if you want, and you can stair step your way out in increments at that time, but you make sure you lock in profits and pay yourself initially. That's it. That's all I've got, or I'll just keep talking. It's been 13 minutes and you guys know how that goes. So we could go for another 20 if you guys let me. So I'm going to turn it over to Max.
Okay, let me get my screen up. Bish, bash.
Got to be quicker than that. Now we're on it now.
Okay. Right, we're up. Okay, so my analysis yesterday for the shorts for me still stands. So the member stream analysis that I gave, I'm going to hide this just for now, the level alerts, but I will come back to it later because it's a little bit important. So for me, the shorts are the Q3 open. I think, it's the top of what is now the single print. And that's a good short place. If you're swing failing these highs, if you're trading it as a swing failure, the risk to reward is very good. Tight risk management. If you're trading the SFP, you're below the Q3 open at that point, so it's safe, let's say. And I think it's a very good target. I think it is a very good target, and the reason being is after this low that was made earlier at 2:30 my time, you had huge increase in open interest, which is very good. That's longs and shorts both that entered in this section, the charts. And this weird line that I've got here, this random line, is from the previous week open. And the reason that I have this on my chart is because for me, I feel like it's very important level to have. One could argue that you want to look at this current week open and daily open, but I do just quite like this weekly open only because we've yet to lose it and reject from it. Every time we've lost it, we've either bounced from it as support, reclaimed it as support, or bounced from here. Dog, shh, oi, shh, shh, shh. And hit. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so even when we come down today, we reclaim it and we move up. We lose it. We don't back test it as resistance. We then reclaim it and move up again. So for me, it's a really key level to have on one's chart. And I think while we're above it, with this open interest increase that occurred down here, and open interest was increasing with the downtrend, which yes, minor, but it was still somewhat increasing with the downtrend. And I think while we're above that level, you can target these highs where that is the Asia high, the London high, Asia high, with the current day high. Let's just make it simple. You really can target them regions as long as you're holding what is now the VWAP and the previous week open. For a potential SFP, you've got the 310 EMA here as well. The these highs here from yesterday, but really the ultimate place for me for a short would be the Q3 open. And Magic is correct. We do have a huge single print. This is just from a trade earlier. But yeah, this. So the way that I trade single prints, theoretically, when you have a single print, it would only mark when you have one 30-minute candle going through. But I don't understand the reason for that. And I think when you have candles that go from one to the other, really it's still empty space, still hollow space. For me, I mark them all as one single print, even though EXO doesn't. So EXO's got this box, that box, and this one. I would much prefer to use it all as one single print because it's all rather hollow. Sorry, someone's knocking about outside and my dog is just going mental for it. But yeah, I'd mark it all as one, and it all comes in around that Q3 open. So really important region to, if you want to long, you can have a long. If you turn what is resistance into support, one can take a long there, and you can target literally the closure of the single print. It's a very good trade. And if you have really really good market structure up and around the high, let's say we did something like this. Say we came down, tested this, came up here, wiggled around for a little bit, broke above, came back tested. That would be your entry on the back test. And where would your stop loss be on a trade like that? Well, if you've had something like this occur before, this is a very good break. So if you're trading market structure alone, you want to have a piece of this. If you're going to be trading the reclaim of such level, this is the perfect breakout effectively. If you want to trade breakouts, this is the way to do it. You want to have a small tight consolidation just below the support, the break, the back test, and then you trade the bounce from the region, and then you've got a really tight stop loss below the consolidation. That is what you really want. You don't really actually want this big move, but you'd much rather it do like a small consolidation up, and you can have, if there was another consolidation here, you could have your stop loss there if you wanted to be really safe. But this would be the best long setup to trade the closure of the single print. If you've missed all the price action, down here, and we don't get this bounce, you'd want something like this to occur. Is it going to happen? I'm not Elliott Waves. I don't like to predict the future. I'm just telling you that would be the best setup if you wanted to trade the Q3 open. But until it's reclaimed, taken and reclaimed, and back tested as support, I would be rather cautious because I would still be looking for that SFP and rejection from the region as well. But yeah, while we live above the open interest increase, why not go for it? Because while them shorts are trapped, what can we look to do? We can look to squeeze out those shorts. And some of the members in the group were very sharp to point out that, let me hide the mark because we don't need it. And we put the delta bars on. You can see, I need to zoom in a little bit and make this a touch smaller. Okay, so zooming out, I am on the 1 minute. So this is the low back here. And you can see we have got on the higher term time frame, which I don't really like to trade. Higher term time frame, I guess it's high. Yeah, it's over a day. It is higher term time frame, but it is bullish divergence. So there's been a lot more shorts and selling take place in this price action, and we're failing to really hit the lows again. So theoretically, the shorts are doing a pull job of pushing price down, which is good for the bulls if they can just fucking do something about it. But they're not doing anything about it. They are struggling. So we do have a bullish divergence. Good thing to know. But where does it become tradable? Well, unless you're just literally saying, okay, I'm going to long anywhere in here, stop loss below the low, because that's the bullish divergence. The key part is getting above these range highs that we've got. Let's mark this level out, and just let's say that's the range highs. We've deviated it here, fell back in, and this has clearly been resistance. And to be honest, I'll just put the Q3 open. Just I would prefer the Q3 open, but one would say if you live above here, all the selling, all the shorts that have entered, the people that have been selling their longs, they're going to have to buy back in. People that have been shorting, they're going to be underwater, they're going to be under pressure. You just need to get above that area in order to generate that push, generate that panic in the shorts, generate the fear of missing out in the longs that have sold. You just need to get above this region, okay, in order to be in a safer zone, let's just put it. And while you are living below it and longs are struggling, it looks like ass. Like, there's no way to really sugarcoat it. It does look like ass until you really start to get above these regions. And you would call it a box from here to here. You would call it a box. So until that, cautious on the longs. But once you're above that, if you get the good reclaim, good bounce from that Q3 open, like, shit could fly, because this is hollow space. There's no trap shorts. There's nothing here. There's just nothing here in this area. So for me, really does need to reclaim that level in order to stay safe from losing the lower end of the range. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me for Bitcoin. Get above here, long, reject, short. If it wants to come and test this again, we can get into a long. But if it loses this and gives you a similar situation to what I drew here, where you have like a consolidation, get above and back test, but in this instance, be consolidation, get below and back test as resistance. I would really be looking for the previous week low, to be honest with you. There's a daily there, which is untapped, a few dollars, but it is untapped. And I'd only be trading an SFP at that point. There's nothing really to trade other than an SFP, and I'd be very cautious on that. But there is that there. So yeah, cautious for the longs until it can really get above here safely, personally. But yeah, that's it for Bitcoin for me. But I have got some shit coins. Now, big regret from me yesterday on the members stream. If you listen back, I actually said on the stream, I'm going to hide my, I'll remember this is the XRP one, but I said 1 inch. I was like, 1 inch. It's moving up, but it's only got 50 million volumes, so it's not really something I'm bothered about. Look at how far this shitcoin flew. So big regret on my end not actually calling this out, because it went up like 40% from where we were literally talking about it on the stream to the high. 31%. Why are you chatting shit? Yeah, 31%. I try to make it big with 40. Yeah, 30%. But yeah, so maybe with the altcoin strategy, the way to look at it is to really to look for maybe the low volume coins and wait for them that are the big movers, and then jump into them. And when the big volume then comes in, you get that big push after that. But yeah, wouldn't trade this right now. It's kind of not really had. It doesn't look the best. If you wanted to trade it, I would definitely wait for this low to be swept. It's not been swept here. Definitely wait for that to be swept, but maybe a few more lows need to be swept before it can get a move up. But I have got some good shit coins that do look good, and I've marked some buy areas. Okay, so CELO, I don't know what the fuck this is, but it is the current top mover with only 18 million, and it's got open interest on the open interest suite. So shitting good things. Has it had a blow off top? It's had some big candles, which I think if you look on the higher time frames, possibly will look like it. But on the 1 minute, it's not really. The volume's not really been there at the. It's not had massive volume. Well, yeah, I guess it has. If it's zooming out, yeah, I guess it has had big volume spikes. But we can wait and trade the SFP of all this liquidity here, and you can see you've got 79,000 there. You've got 1 million from that high, 143,000. There's a lot of liquidity above you, yeah. And the highs the lows to be swept would be this one, or I'd argue this one. But you'd really target your first take profit would be, these highs and then this high, And then you can look for some older highs. I don't know how far back this 79K is from, but those would be your targets. You're targeting the highs. You're targeting where the liquidity from the shorts would be, taken out. So yeah, CELO is one that I've got my eye on. I need to set an alert for that. So we'll trade it there or there, whichever gives us the SFP, because that's the strategy. SFP in line with this trend. Saved you all 40 minutes of watching my video. And then GMT. Now, this one I'm not too sure about, okay? Reason being is the swing point and liquidity, it just doesn't seem to be giving me anything until way down here. And the open interest is a bit of a mad one. So, not too sure on this one, but it is moving. And what is the volume on this in the day? 53 million. Okay, so 53 million on this one. But I'd really be waiting for it to come down and take these big group of lows here, because that seems to be where the open interest really started to come in. So if it came down here, it'd shake out a load of the longs that had entered and at this point move their stop loss to entry or just below this low, because I think they're doing God's work by moving the stop loss up to the local low. But I really do think that this would be a good spot for an SFP on this coin, and it's moved up 12% today. Let's have a look where the daily open is. Daily open's very far down there. So as long as you're trading with an SFP, this thing is really moving and it's not really had any blow off top situation. So, liking the look of it. So yeah, this is where I would look to get in. Let's set an alert on that bad boy. And then I've got one more, and then we can talk about these on Wednesday when we come back to stream if any of them played out. Luna 2. Now, it did just have an SFP, so maybe we are a bit late to this one. It did have an SFP about an hour and a half ago, so maybe it's already gone, but it didn't really collect the big amount of liquidity of that 76,000 here, so still a target, and I've extended the box down to the previous day high, because if it came down and back tested that and then gave the SFP, it would just be even more sweet, because it's back tested what was resistance, turned it into support. Just adds a little bit of flavor to that trade, but this kind of has had a it's come down quite a little. It's come down to quite a bit more than the others. So, but no blow off top situations. Not had a huge volume spike. Not had a huge drop in open interest. So I like this target to come and test this support, check these traders out of their trades, and then you've got a lot of liquidity to the upside. So you'd be targeting in this trade. First TP would be these highs. Second TP would be these highs. Third above here, and you leave the fourth to run. If you want to take 25% of each of them trades, there's your setup. Yeah, all looking good on these three. So GMT, CELO, and Luna 2 are the ones that I'm looking out for. But yeah, gutted I didn't actually call this one out yesterday. But yeah, can I go over ETH? Clearly didn't watch the debate crypto one. But yeah, sure. Let's go over ETH. I will go over ETH from a open interest standpoint. And then Magic can go over ETH with his chart. I don't know why you've had a huge open interest increase here, but you're living below it, which isn't good. So for me, looking at this, you've got clear. You'd put it there, wouldn't you? Would you put it there? Yeah, you'd put it there. You'd draw a box and you'd include this low to these lows, because it's clearly been support for a little bit. You back tested it here. I don't know what this level is, but you back tested it here. You then found it support a little bit, and you've been playing around it. So yeah, you would definitely do a box actually. So let's do a box. Something like that. So above this box, you can see here, you've had a huge increase in open interest. Huge. That's 4.35%. I can see it behind the thing. So huge increase in open interest in there. Now, yes, you've come down a little bit. Maybe those traders are taken out, maybe not. But it could be any traders that were taken out here. But with this huge increase in open interest that you've had above this area, open interest is longs, open interest is shorts as well. So if you're living below it, the longs that entered, they're underwater. Maybe they got taken out in this SFP. That's why you've had a huge drop there in the open interest. Some probably did not. So while you're living below it, it looks bearish. You start to get above it, start to get above the highs. You've then trapped the shorts on the opposing side, and you're flipping the pressure from the longs to the shorts. So for me, if you're living below here, it's not looking good. If you're living above, I want to use this for this one. You're going to just put, oh my God, here. You'll get above there, you're looking good. Similar thing to Bitcoin, I guess. You get above the Q3 open, you're looking good. Anything below it, you're looking a bit weak. So yeah, that would be it really locally for me on ETH. But yeah, I imagine I'm on the 5 minute here. You're going to have a single print up to here on ETH. So yeah, get above there. You can trade it as a back test of support, similar situation, and you can trade it up to close what I presume would be the single print from back here. Where is it? Would it be a single print? Yeah, I think it would be. I think the single print would be from there to there. So yeah, trade it as a closure of the single print if you really wanted. But yeah, that'd be locally what I'd be looking at on ETH. And you've just had a good SFP, huge open interest drop. Let's have a look at the 1 minute as it came down here. Huge open interest drop, a very quick change in. So in the open interest video, I go through one of the ways that you can trade open interest for scalping, and you're on like the 1 minute or the 5 minute. You're waiting for a big drop in open interest, and then you're waiting for that market structure change. And this is a higher low. That could have been your entry. Whether you wanted to wait for it to take this local high, obviously I'm talking very low time frames here, but you could have very easily entered there, stop loss either low or this low, and just kind of ridden it out. And if you've analyzed that that's going to be your well, if you want to take the highs, you've had your short there. Your take profit there if you've taken this high. But yeah, you'd probably still be in that one. I think it came down to the gold pocket if my eyes aren't deceiving me. Yeah, so similar situation to Bitcoin. This is why I don't like trading ETH, because it's the same shit. Like, I just feel like I'm trading the same thing twice, and it really does my head in. Honestly, this is why I don't trade ETH. This is what I should have said to Keeper the other day. It just follows Bitcoin. So yeah, it looks very similar to Bitcoin, to be honest with you. But yeah, if you want to go on a chart magic on ETH, by all means.
Sure. We'll do a high time frame Ethereum chart. We won't cover the XRP next. We'll cover Ethereum. Let's find, I believe it's on my USD chart. If we're looking at it from the high time frames, guys, 1784. This is a level I gave in June of 2022. These were the levels: the quarter one low, merged POC, and then these are just merged value areas here with a single print that we backfilled here. So, just looking at this chart alone, you need to stay above about 1784, right? And when we go out to the USD pairing, which I've got somewhere, there we go. You can see why. That is the July high right here. It's already marked. We'll go ahead and get rid of this for just a second. And we'll get rid of this too, because that was a long area. You can see that you haven't closed below this on a monthly in a long time. So right here, or above, excuse me, you tested into your yearly pivot and your 6M2 from 2022. And then resistance finds support down here. We're at quarter three open, about $1,000, makes the high or low. Comes back, takes the highs, essentially tagging the quarter one low. Big area that we've been looking for on Bitcoin as well. Just Bitcoin front ran it by about $1,000. This front ran it by like $2, right? Now you're closing below these pivots. So, Max was asking, I don't know what's here, what level's here. Well, you're basically battling with your 6 month and yearly pivot, right, in this region. So if you get back above this level and you're back above those range highs, as Max had said, what are you looking to do? You're looking to trade the single print up, and then you are looking to take this up from there. And if you flip 1946 and 1988, I do think you'll probably try to make a new high and get through this quarter one low, and maybe even come up to that $2,600 region, which is in line with any of the patterns we've been looking at. So Ethereum does have a fun folder, of course, and it is right here. You had a nice shark, and it came all the way back down to where the B leg in 50% mark. If you look at it here, that's your 50% mark, which is the first target of that pattern. And that gives you what's called a 5-0. The timing is a little off. It came in quicker, but that's okay. It's pretty close. You don't need perfection. So from there, how do you trade this? Well, you're looking to trade this as an expansion, and you just take your fibs. Where's my 1618 and my 113%? Those are your next two targets. Look at that. 113% comes in where? The quarter one low. 1618 is up here at 2,600. If you recall, that overall point of control we just looked at from merge data, $2,600. So In the short term, you're pretty neutral on this. You're going to see price ideally range between 1785 and 19, call it 1950. And you're looking for a break of that. If price breaks below, 1785 and starts closing there, certainly not good. You're probably heading back down to 1400 to be upfront with you. However, to the flip side of that, if it puts in this consolidation, continues to make these higher lows, as you can see, this is your last local low right here, the low you need to be holding. If it can get back above this level, you're targeting a higher high, and that can push you into these targets up here. That's going to require Bitcoin to also not break down out of its range. As Max had said, they follow each other. So you have a bearish setup on Bitcoin versus this bullish one on Ethereum, which I find very interesting. Same exact patterns, actually. Both are sharks. One's a bearish shark. This is a bullish reversal. And the bullish reversal did definitely work. I mean, if you took this long here, which was also your local gold pocket, you had this Q1 NPOC. This was the long we were looking for. You're looking to take it back up to 1785, and then this, yearly pivot area is what we'll call it. And that's really your big resistance, is getting above this, we'll call it $2,000 or 1950, somewhere in that range between 1900 and 2000. You get above that, I think that you can really make that move and try to swing up above this 2155 high right here, take out all these local highs, and then potentially push even higher. But that would also require Bitcoin to be living above what? 31,069 most likely. If Bitcoin's reclaiming 31,069, that April high, and invalidating that pattern, I'm looking for this pattern to play out maybe to the 1618 extension. But I'd look for at least that 113% retrace here. So a pretty good opportunity in trade if you were ready and willing to take it. It's kind of hard where it is now. Max's low time frame analysis is going to be much more useful to you in the sense that he just showed you why getting back above, these like little local highs right here is good. And you can see that puts you all the way back up here at this local high. So if you clear the 1946 level, I'm looking to take it back to like 2000 and probably, $2,000 and beyond. It's pretty simple. But I don't day trade ETH much. It's kind of like Max had just said, there's really no point, at least in my opinion, when you can trade other shit coins and do just as well. I will swing trade it, obviously. I do trade ETH. I have a fairly good position size of ETH, but I've just been holding it, taking profits right here has been my game, and buying lower, just trading this as a range until it isn't. And if it breaks the range, I'll still have Ethereum in the, the old wallet to continue up. The next coin would be XRP, and that one is only getting covered because it's just so relevant. And we nailed XRP. And I think we nailed it before anyone did in the entire space, because we went circa to 2021 to nail the 29-cent low. And then after that, completed this pattern. What did we say we were looking for? We're looking for this blue box. And we had one line in that blue box. It's on my Twitter, so you guys can fact check it. 95 cents. And that was, I gave that publicly to on the Investing Bros and on Sin City and on Debate Crypto. All three shows got this exact same target. We nailed it. I took profits up here, which was great. Locked those in. I posted on my Twitter so you guys know that, hey, I'm closing some of that position. What needs to happen with this one is you can see that the Q1 low will be the key level yet again. If we go back and take a peek right here, boom, Q1 low. That was just like Ethereum, this was the level to get back above. And you can see it just put in higher low, higher low, higher low off of this bullish reversal pattern. Looking for that B leg. And if you go out to the 3-month chart, again, this is where this level comes from and why it is so important that you start on the high time frames when you chart, in my opinion. Go out to the 3-month chart, and you have not closed a quarterly candle over this in so long. So this was a huge area to, clear. So if you start clearing 95 cents, you do need to be aware that if for any reason it decides to come up and take these local highs again, that $1.09 is the macro global point of control and TPO point of control. So big target on its back, and it could just wick up there and come back down, but you need to see closures above 95 cents. It's going to start with the monthly chart, right? See how we haven't done that in a while? So you want to see price start closing back above into this blue box on the higher time frames. You could even start with just a weekly closure right here would be a nice change of behavior based on what we've seen here and here. If we can close back in this region, put in market structure, you can certainly make that push to this $1.57 region over time, but not until then. So that's XRP in a nutshell. You need to hold on to the Q1 low at a minimum at 54 cents. I believe I had some TPO levels at 61. So I had boxed it off like so. This would be your support that you need to be aware of, in my personal opinion. And XRP's chart has been my personal plaything for a while. So I've been really enjoying this chart. So as long as you're above here, things are actually not bad. You could retrace all the way back to this support, but what you want to see is living above it. And you can see why right here. This is your last structure that you put in. Okay, these are your support and resistance. This is the SR flip you need to be aware of. Certainly don't want to lose that area of the chart. And you just need to close above blue box here. And then we've got the TPO POC. And then we can really start looking towards, local highs, but also this NPOC at $1.57. But not until then. So when you see all this Moon Boy stuff, where like in a week we're going to 589, things like that, we just those guys right there are going to be perpetual losers in this market probably. And you'll constantly catch me not bashing XRP, but bashing influencers that do that type of stuff because they have zero idea what the fuck they're talking about, to be point blank with you guys. They're all over Twitter, and that's not to be rude. It's just, we try to shoot you guys straight on this channel. And I rarely will, get into it about another influencer or anything like that. I try not to on this channel, but when it comes to that type of stuff, it really does set you guys up for failure, which I don't like to see. So yeah, if you lose 54 cents, where might we go? You'd have to be aware of a wick to 47 and then 37 cents. Those are the only targets. And really loss of this like 54-cent level doesn't look great. So if it wicked into here, that'd be fine. But you cannot be living below this level, because then you're looking pretty much down back into the range, and it starts to look like every other major consolidation and pump that XRP does, right? So major consolidation right here, inverse head and shoulders. We actually called this one out back in the day in 2019, was looking for 86 cents. It did only hit 78, so it didn't fulfill my target, but it was still a great trade. What did it do? Gives it all back. Big pump, pretty much gives it all back. Big pump and gives it all back, right? So this coin is known for pumping really hard and then dumping really hard. So be wary of that. That won't last forever, of course. Every dog has its day. And if you were looking at this from just a macro standpoint, XRP on the Bitstamp chart is what you want to do to give yourself some perspective on this on the high time frames, so that you can say, okay, well, when will I know that XRP is truly bullish? Yeah, we go out to the weekly chart, and this needs to be in log, because that is a more fitting chart for this. And I was back testing a couple things here earlier, but these are high time frame levels right here. Okay, these are the only levels that I had on my chart. 29 cents, that was the target. And if we go out to the yearly, you'll see how we got these. We're just looking for where are the macro high time frame closures. So when price came all the way back up here during the last bull run, this was actually a huge target. I got out right around $1 and like 82 cents. And then got back in here. I believe my average was 34 cents. And then I took a local setup as well at 47 cents, 45.59, excuse me, on a leverage play for that one. So if you're looking at this from a yearly standpoint, these are the macro levels. And then you could even mark off this one right here. And you've got all the levels that one would need, right? And we can now get rid of these circles, go back to our chart, and we can make an analysis. We'll go to the weekly, for instance, and what do we notice here? Okay, so these are our levels on the chart. 29 cents, looks really good. There's our EQ. Where's that at? About 61 cents. If you guys recall, that is 61 to 54 cents. That's the zone that we're wanting to see flipped. Okay, that little box we just drew. So now the EQ of our overall range, which, this is where you guys need to start looking to the left here. So support, resistance, 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 bounces from the EQ, bounces from the EQ, front running the EQ, but it's basically resistance. Now you need to see this region again become support. And if it does, what happens when this asset flips it to support? We usually run up to somewhere between $1.30 up to even as high as $1.99. So you have additional upside, a full 100% move if you can flip this, because even if it does the minimum and runs to like $1.30, from where we are right here and takes this local high, it's 119%. So, you don't need leverage. You just need to have a really good grasp of high time frame analysis. And then you can say, yeah, I took this trade. It was a great bounce, but it only bounced back up to 83 cents and got rejected. And then you lose this area. Well, you know that I probably shouldn't be holding on to this until these lows right here get taken, right? I should probably be looking to buy back in lower and find that nearest support, so just have a plan, have a good idea of what you're looking at on the chart. And, trading these assets for swing trades can be quite beneficial and very low risk. It's just you have to have patience. Like I started accumulating my position here and again right here. And I was vocal about it in January. I said I'm buying this support again. It was between 29 cents and 37 cents. That was the zone I had given for purchases. And panned out really well. But, man, you had to wait. I did lock in some profits at the quarter one high initially. I believe I sold at about 50 cents. So didn't sell the exact top, didn't buy the exact bottom either. And I did post that on my Twitter. I posted when I exited that trade and then reloaded again. And now we're taking profits up here. So if it clears, 83, 95 cents, monthly closures, maybe even a weekly closure, we can start targeting these upper areas, right? We can say, oh man, this looks good. But until then, I'm not interested in any fresh positions on XRP unless I get a back test of this region, and maybe I'll trade it again. That's how I'm looking at the chart because I want a good risk to reward, and this just is not a good risk to reward for me. But maybe it flags out, puts in some structure here, and does something that I'm not expecting. Certainly possible, but at the same time, I have to trade within my own rules of what I'm looking to accomplish. So. Hopefully that's made sense. We've been going for 46 minutes, 47 minutes. I don't really have anything else to add, outside of the XRP analysis into the final section of the chart. So, Max, you got anything you want to throw in there before we hop off here?
I could quickly do Nia because I know Redman's called it out, so I don't mind quickly looking at Nia. But my analysis, I always shun myself for my altcoin analysis because it's a very low time frame, and I'm not sure whether you're a bag holder, Redman, or something else. But if you are day trading, it actually looks very good. I'm not looked at the Nia chart since it was uptrending quite some time ago. Oh shit! I didn't mean to do that. But it looks like it trades pretty well. So hindsight analysis, let's go for it. Previous day low, SFP'd, back tested. One of the really good things that we're seeing in SFPs really often now is the fact that, not every time, but quite often, once you've SFP'd the level, you're coming back and back testing it. And that would have been really sweet to get into. You had a volume spike there. You can see you had the red PVA on the 1 minute. And you would have entered when you got above the daily open, the weekly open, to be honest with you, but just to be safe. But yeah, you could have easily entered, here. And to be honest with you, the way I'm looking at it very locally is you've got many highs here. Yes, you've taken these two, but you've got 1, 2, arguably 3 highs, all yet to be taken. And I would quite like to at least take the current day high from where we are, previous day high for sure. But the area where I would be looking and be somewhat cautious is the gold pocket and the weekend high. That'd be an area where I'm looking for, maybe taking a short. I don't short alts, to be honest with you. I'd only trade the longs. But if you were trying to day trade this, I'd be cautious of this region. But again, they all move like Bitcoin. If you can get above it, Bitcoin can get above the Q3 open, get that nice back test of it, and you're in this region, probably would be a little bit cautious of taking the short, but it looks like a really good region to take a short. Gold pocket, and you trade it as an SFP. So there's your plan. There's your stop loss, your entry would all be below the weekend high. That for me would be the area to take the short. But if Bitcoin holds that Q3 open and you're living up here on Nia, a lot of liquidity here. 600 to 700,000, another 300 up there. A lot of liquidity up here. You didn't really you had the high made, you didn't take it. A lot of liquidity up at that previous week high. And zooming out, there's not a lot of liquidity that far, that close to you. The next lump sum of using the swing points and liquidity thing is way down here. So you don't really want to be losing these lows again. That Q3 opens down here, but you don't really want to be coming down. Well, I could argue you could test it, but at that point you're putting a lot of traders underwater, a lot of longs that have been buying up here. So yeah, really needs to get above here, get in the mixer, and not reject for the longs to be good. But this looks like on a low time frame, it does trade very well. So. But yeah, really would be expecting these highs just to get taken locally. If we do really zoom in, locally the uptrend's pretty strong. And what happens when you have a strong uptrend? Typically, you have an open interest drop before reversal, and you can see here, obviously it came down below the low. You had that low time frame open interest drop. Let's go on the 1 minute. And if you didn't want to trade the back test, you had a higher low be put in from a market structure standpoint. You then broke the high. Could have entered anywhere here. And you'd probably still be in that trade as you got above the daily open or weekly open, whatever you want to call it. You'd probably still be in that one if you had the stop loss down here. So yeah, hindsight analysis there, but I'd really be looking for it to come and take these regions, if not test that gold pocket above you. So yeah, there you go. Quick on there. But yeah, that's the good thing about really low time frame analysis. You don't have to. You can look at what's occurring, and really, if you've got your strategies in place, you can kind of just look for where you think price is going to go to. So if you are in long, I'd be looking for these regions. But if that doesn't match your plan, trade your plan, not mine. I wouldn't take a long here just for it to come up here, or for it to come here. If I traded this asset, I'd have wanted to take the trade when it SFP'd it down here, personally. But overall, the uptrend. Let's see. Did have a big open interest drop. Had a big open interest drop when it came down. Was it a big spike? You didn't really have topping signals up here, to be honest with you. You didn't really have like big reversal signals. No big open interest drop. No big volume spike, which are the typical reversal signals. No big wick. And you've got a lot of liquidity up here, so it looks pretty good. Looks better than most of the assets, but clearly it follows Bitcoin range bound. Come test the lows a few times. It clearly follows Bitcoin. In fact, let's go do the correlation indicator just to check it out. Kill a bit more time. What do we not care about this? And what are we looking at near? This is an indicator that you can check the correlation between assets. Really good for trading shitcoins. Really good. But on ETH, it's like, we can check it here. So let's make a big look. ETH is almost... Near is more identical to Bitcoin than ETH. So this is Bitcoin here, and then this is the shit coins in correlation to Bitcoin. They're just, so when some of these shit coins that I've called out earlier, they'll have like 0. So 0 is like doesn't have any correlation to Bitcoin. If it goes negative, it has opposing correlation to Bitcoin. These are all very high. So if you're trading these coins, you have to know what Bitcoin is doing, because these coins all follow Bitcoin. This is on the 5 minute. It can change on the 1 minute, change on the hourly. But the higher the time frame and the more correlated, the more close to 1 it is, the more important it is to obviously watch it. So yeah, it follows Bitcoin. So make sure your analysis on Bitcoin is on point before you. You need to see what you want to see on Bitcoin before you're falling in love with any of these shit coins. But yeah, that would be my analysis on, which I guess is not really trading setups. It's just kind of where I'd be looking for price to go. The high here, the high there. And ultimately, if Bitcoin doesn't nuke, you're coming up and taking this one. But yeah, that's it for me.
No worries. I got one guy asking about ADA, and I'll probably make a video on ADA then rather than do it live. We'll do it live real quick, but then we're going to go because it's about an hour. I think that's a good stopping point. Cardano, 54 minutes in. All right. So this is not hindsight. This is actually the same analysis we had. We were looking for ADA right here as you had a nice reversal. Okay. So again, yet another shark. And I said the shark would be questionable in my personal opinion, but you had the swing fail of X, very strong, nice retest, market structure change as Max loves to see. And what are you doing? Putting in higher lows at what? Well, resistance. You have your old support right here, your old shelf, the B leg. Okay, so that's where this box comes from. So if I bring this over and you see this first pattern, the gray one, it's a bullish pattern. You can see that this is where price settled up, and it's also going to be where your quarter one pivot is. So big area to get back above, because this is where the range started before it expanded to the downside. So now it's resistance. We're looking to see it get flipped to support. You did put in a bearish reversal pattern here off of the bullish one. You put in what's called a bat, looking for that 50% to 50% ratio. And what I mean by that is this is a 50% retrace up, and then you had a 50% retrace of the move down. That's going to give you a really nice clear range. And now you're looking to expand this to at least an 886, which you got. As long as you don't take out the top of the pattern, it's still valid. And a 2618 expansion, which you got a 2647, which is almost perfect. Really nice pattern. From there, what are you doing? You're targeting the exact same thing that you were targeting here on the pullback. So you were targeting the B leg here. And off of this rejection, you're now targeting the B leg here. And you're now seeing this support. So you want to see this get a nice pump here. You want to see this invalidate this bearish pattern and move on. Now, if you start breaking below this box, more than likely you're going to take C. That would be how I would trade it, because this isn't a very deep retrace. So I would imagine you're going to come down here and take this low. If you start breaking below about, we'll call it 38 cents. You start losing 38 cents on a material closing basis, kind of like right here where it's support, nuke below it here, no real retest. So it is lost. If you lose that and that same scenario plays out, I'm expecting to see probably 24 cents again. And then from there, I would look at this as, how low can this go? And it could go substantially low. Like you could basically pull up your overall fibs. You could just say C is the gold pocket, but I'm really looking for the 1272, 1618, and I'm looking for the 886 and 818 for this specific pattern. And so here is my bounce zone. If we lose 38 cents, it's going to be down here at the yearly open at 24.58 and 24.29 and 23.41. So this little box would be your next area. And if that doesn't hold, you're also breaking the local low. I'm expecting to see 18.97 and 15.71 over time. And anyone that knows me knows I have not bought any fucking ADA. The entire move down, I didn't buy any because it did not fit my plan. And for you, just wondering, my high time frame plan for this was pretty dubious. It's been going on since 2021. And if things don't hit my levels, I generally just don't trade them because I just don't see the point. And we did a ADA USD chart, right? Looking to flip this, but I was looking for down here. This has been my buy zone on ADA for over a year. I've been waiting on this level. So maybe I get it, maybe I don't, but it's so close. Not too many people up here, back in 2021 were calling for ADA to come down to 18.2 cents to 8.2 cents. Big buy zone. So for me, I'm staying patient. If ADA puts in a bigger range here, which it certainly could, you can see how it's already trying to comb out a range. Maybe it puts in right here and it puts in an accumulation range, at which point I'll make a decision to get involved in the asset. But that can take quite a while. These ranges can go on for, quite some time, much like right here. Okay. So for me, I'm just being patient. If it comes down into my buy zone though, I certainly will be taking part in the price action. But if it doesn't, I'm going to evaluate what's going on locally. And if I see a really good high time frame setup, I'll take it. That simple. So hopefully that was helpful. I know that's a lot of Jack, I'm not. So these are questions right here that you shouldn't ask anyone on the internet. Not even trying to be mean about it. It's just nobody knows. I don't do astrology. And people that are telling you that, they don't know anything. Outside of like a very small window of time, it's really hard to predict what price is going to do. So me telling you it's going to hit $1 within the year would be very facetious. And me telling you it can't hit $1 within the year would also be very disingenuous as well, because I don't realistically know. I just know when it's a good time to buy and sell. And if you just bought ADA and you're buying this back test, well, you just bought support. So if that support holds, you could be looking very good. But for me, I'm just looking locally and saying, okay, when would be a good time for me to buy? Well, I'm going to be pretty patient on that. You know, I think I had my ADA box right here that if price breaks above about 36 cents and lives above this, I'm looking to take it to 41 and then maybe as high as like 47 up to 49 cents, that $0.50 mark. That's when I would get pretty excited about it. And I would go from there, you know. So that's how I'm trading it right now. I'm a little more conservative as a high time frame trader, but you know, there's an old saying that if you wait for the market to reveal itself and reveal a direction before getting involved, you have a much higher success rate, essentially. Yeah. So could ADA hit $1 again? Sure. But I think that you've got some, you know, pretty big headwinds before you see $1 again. So if you're accumulating ADA down in this region, you know, sub 30 cents, looking maybe even down as low as some of my targets, you're probably going to be holding that asset for a long time. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just needs to be factored into your investing plan, you know. If it's not, you're doing yourself a disservice. So that is all I've got. We'll bring Max back on, or he can bring himself back on here, and we'll bid you guys a good day. Anything to add?
No, nothing to add. Happy trading, everyone, and yeah, I hope everyone's had a good start to the week.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's a fun week. I can't believe it didn't take the session highs on Bitcoin. Very close, but
still time now.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to hop off here. Do me a favor. Make sure you do the whole like thing, smash it, leave a comment down below. If you want to join the Discord, or go to leadingcrypto.io or scan the little QR code right there, and you're good to go. So thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. And thanks, Jack. I think that's I don't know what that is, but I think it's a tip. So we'll take it. It is a tip. Thank you. That's always appreciated. All right. Have a good one.